right. Thanks for watching Numbskull News Live. We're doing it live, damn it. Hopefully, I will have a guest on, my first guest ever. And let's see. Maybe that'll work a little better. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully that'll happen still. But while we wait for him, we're gonna get into some BS here. First of all, sorry, still trying to get comfortable. Damn it. Well, hold on. I think we have somebody. You ready there, sir? All right. Let's see if this works out. You hear me all right?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, good.
Kind of got you. I think that'll work. Anyway, folks, Mr. TJ Pittenger here. I didn't know your name, so so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you coming on. And I actually went back and rewatched the video that I did about you. And I'm like, damn, I actually went pretty hard on you.
I haven't rewatched that one, but your video did. And I don't know how I saw it. I don't know if somebody shared it with me or actually somebody did. Yeah. Somebody sent it to me actually on Facebook Messenger of all places and was like, hey, this guy's talking a lot of crap about you. I was like, whatever. It's Tuesday, like it's another day. It'll be all right. But I watched yours but I didn't rewatch that. I went and rewatched my video. Cause I was like, man, I didn't intend for this to be, inflammatory. Like I certainly didn't mean for it to come across and like cause that kind of emotion. I think I, kind of said some things that were pretty flippant and maybe that makes it worse. Maybe it doesn't, but, I went back and rewatched my video. I was like, what the heck did I say in that video to kind of cause some grief or whatever. But anyway, yeah, no, I'm glad to be here. Glad to come on.
Well, I think mostly on my part, and I think maybe on your part as well. For me, good Lord, a couple of years now, pretty much all I've heard is BS about the Big 12, just how we suck and we're less than everybody. We're just, some substandard crap league and all this kind of BS. And I'm like, well, why does everyone want to pay us, if we suck that bad?
Yeah.
And I think on your part, and I get it, all this talk about Florida State and Clemson going to the Big 12, it makes very little sense to me. And actually, in that video, I basically, I said, hey, monetarily speaking, I agree. Like, how does this work? And how does it work with the current Big 12 presidents to bring in Florida State and Clemson, making all this more money than everybody else? As far as I know, unequal revenue sharing is not exactly popular in the Big 12, and that's what it would take, a lot of that. And so I totally agree with you on that. But I think because I probably just took it out way harder I think it went harder on you than I did on Monty, of all people. And I guess it was just a buildup of just tired of hearing this crap about the conference. Because to me, you can make all those points about the Big 12, not being, of course, it's not a preferred landing spot. We all know that for Florida State and Clemson. But as far as telling the truth about that, but when it comes to perception, I don't know. I don't think the perception of the Big 12 has gotten a lot better than it was a couple of years ago. Even with Texas and Oklahoma in the conference, the perception had been down for a while.
Yeah.
Talking 10 teams and basically ruled by 2 schools, and everybody else was looked as trailer trash, essentially. Just, they're just there for wins. So I guess that's where it came from. And looking back on it, I think I do have to issue a bit of an apology for going that damn hard on you,
Well, no, and no offense taken. Like that's why I kind of wanted to come on and squash it or hash it out. I did listen back to my video, and the one thing I'll say, I'll condemn, and so yeah, apology accepted. I certainly no hard feelings. And if I did, I wouldn't be on here for sure. I appreciate the passion, and the one thing I'll say, I'll defend myself a little, and then I'll also say what I would have changed a little bit. I think I got a little the one thing I pulled out from my video. Let me pull my notes up because I did rewatch it, and the one thing I would say that I got wrong, or that I said too quickly, and maybe just in the heat of the moment, too much passion, just kind of ranting. I said that the ACC would be a better conference if you removed Florida State and Clemson off the face of the earth. And I don't stand by that. I don't really agree with that. I don't believe that is the case. Like now, if you put Florida State and Clemson in the Big 12, I think the Big 12 is better. And if you leave Florida State and Clemson in the ACC, like I'll still side with the ACC there, right? Like we can disagree on that if we want to, but like I said, probably a little too heat of the moment. Like if you took Florida State and Clemson, like if they canceled their programs, the ACC would still be better. I don't believe that at all. In fact, I went on with John Kurtz today and said the exact opposite. Said like, no, as soon as Florida State and Clemson leave, the Big 12 leapfrogs the ACC and is a better conference. So I don't really know why I said that. Heat of the moment. Didn't remember. I didn't catch it when I was editing the video either. And so that's probably the one thing I'd say. And to defend myself, though, a little bit, not on that point, but on the rest. From a perception standpoint, like I do agree. I think the Big 12, I mean, the Big 12 in 5 years, or maybe even in 2, if Florida State gets out faster, I mean, they are clearly going to, and no one will even question it. There will be no debate. The Big 12 will be the 3rd best conference in all of college football. And that's, not, to me, that's not a question. Their leadership is going to keep them ahead of the ACC, and then certainly ahead of any group of fives that are out there and trying to blossom or blow up or whatever. But I do think that when I made the video, the ACC having a better perception than the Big 12 was mostly speaking like the internal FSU fan perception. And, no FSU fans are going to tell you right now, we think the Big 12 is better than the ACC because they're just inherently biased. And so when I went back and listened to make sure that that's, now it could have been perceived differently. But when I was ranting about the perception, it was basically like, why would we do this to go to a lesser conference? And it wasn't necessarily the national media thinks that the Big 12 is better. It's just like the group that I was talking to and representing it from Florida State's aspect or Clemson's aspect, they would view it that way. And, Big 12 fans may disagree. They may not agree. But that's kind of the way that I was trying to represent it. If it didn't come across very well, then that's on me, or that's on the heat of the moment or whatever. But yeah, I think Florida State fans would tell you, like, we think the ACC is better today. We don't know if they're going to be better in like 365 days because of, what could go down or what could happen. I didn't mean as a shot at the Big 12. It may have come across that way, but I agree with you. I like the Big 12. I think it's gonna be more competitive than any other league this year, and so, certainly didn't mean it to be as offensive as it was, clearly.
Well, I appreciate that. And that makes sense. If you're a Florida State fan, you've been in the ACC all these years, you have rivalries, you have fan bases you're used to going back and forth with, and that's what you know. So it's the devil that you know versus the devil that you don't. So that makes sense on that part. So I just, I can accept that I took that the wrong way completely. But being at war with Pac-12 fans for a year, and then UNC fans coming at me, I'm sure you're used to dealing with the University of North Carolina fans. Not all of them, some of them are cool, but there's some real turds on X, and going at them. So I kind of had my fur up anyway. So that's probably, like I said, that's probably why I made that video, because I saw the video and then immediately went and made mine. So usually, I'll have time to think, because usually what I'll do is I'll take like screenshots of a video if I'm going to do something like that, like with Monty or 365 Sports. I've done it with a lot of people, just like, okay, you're being a bit, I don't agree with this, but usually if I don't agree, I'm not going to go that hard. But usually if I think, there's some arrogance going on, then I'm like, I'm jumping on it. And like I said, like looking back on it now, I kind of understand how you were looking at it, because like I said, all the reporting is the Big Ten and the SEC don't want you. They don't value Florida State. They don't value Clemson whatsoever. I don't believe that BS for nothing. I really don't. There's no way in hell you can convince me they want UNC and Virginia over Florida State and Clemson. That's the biggest. Oh, how should I put it? A lie, propaganda that's been put out there, smoke screen that's been put out there for years. Because we know there's legal ramifications to all of this, right? The SEC can't say anything right now until Florida State and Clemson, or UNC and Miami, or Virginia are cut loose. And as far as I know, UNC and Virginia aren't doing anything to get out of that conference. Nothing. So it's like you got two teams that are trying like hell to get out. Other two teams, there are people within UNC that want out, but they're not trying. They're not suing nothing. They're not doing anything. Virginia is just sitting there with their crap football record for the last forever. And that's an SEC school, Virginia. I mean, no one watches Virginia. No one cares. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not sure what, people always talk about like the new states and new markets and stuff like that. But like the way that things have gone to streaming and stuff, like I don't buy that old school mentality. Like the SEC had to go get Missouri to get into Missouri. Like really, like that's. But anyway, like that, cable packages are just not set up like that anymore, where it's regional. Like it's just streaming now, right? Like very few people are on the old box. Now I have an old cable box because I can't stand the like 15-second delay, and my wife makes fun of me for paying extra for that. But yeah, I don't think there's too many people like me. Like I don't think cable packages are what's driving this anymore, and that's a very old school way of seeing it and thinking it. But yeah, like UNC and Virginia in the SEC, I'll make this video and that'll be who goes, because we both think that something else is happening. But yeah, that just wouldn't make any sense to me. If that's what the SEC does, then great. Probably the Big Ten will get a couple of really good football teams and trying to pull even with the SEC a little bit. But the Virginia and UNC stuff doesn't make any sense to me at all.
No,
like what do they bring? They're, I don't know, hoops, whatever.
I mean, basketball is on the rise, but
sure.
It's not there yet. It could take 5-10 years before the basketball, and even when it's at its peak, whenever it does get to its peak, it's not going to touch college football. It'll never touch college football. It's not that popular. I think it has room to grow, so it will grow, but the SEC isn't going to, well, I should say ESPN isn't going to add schools at that dollar amount just based off of what it could be. Right. What Florida State and Clemson is. And I'm about to do a video comparing them to Texas and Oklahoma, which are the current SEC ads. The viewership. Florida State and Clemson's viewership is right there with Texas and Oklahoma. Yeah. It varies between the four depending on who's up and who's down any particular year. But when Florida State is up, they're right there neck and neck with Texas. And out of all four schools, Texas has the best consistent viewership.
Yeah.
But Florida State's right there. When Texas is down, they're down. They're out of the top 10. They're not in the top 10 viewership as far as the whole country goes. And Florida State is right there with them when they're down. And when they're both up, they're right there neck and neck.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, you don't want to add another Texas? And by the way, you added Texas when you already had A&M. So much for we don't want to add someone because we're already in that state. That's BS. I mean, everything that's being said is just, it's like, I don't know if you ever watch cable news, but so there'll be a talking point, and then every talking head from CNN, MSNBC, Fox, whoever, they all say the same thing. It's amazing. In a 24-hour span, they all say the same thing. It kind of works the same way in sports media. When one person comes out with a talking point, or they have one source, all of a sudden, that one person that said it is now the source for everybody else that says it.
Yeah.
So it all comes to one jackhole that's, I don't know if he's a janitor. I don't know if he cleans Greg Sankey's desk and happens to run across something. I don't know who that person is, but none of it makes sense. It's like, would you add, I don't know, would you add Kansas above FSU? No, I mean, if you're just adding for basketball, yeah. But this isn't about basketball. It's about football. And the whole damn thing has never made any sense to me. All those narratives have never made any sense to me. It's just shocking to me that that's the case. Like, why add Oregon and Washington? If UNC is such a big freaking deal and everyone's got to have them,
Yeah.
I don't know, why go to 18 with Oregon and Washington? If because it's football. Because it's football. That's all there is. And
Yeah.
as soon as the SEC gets a chance, they're going to scoop them up. Period. End of story. And then they're going to stop. That's too big as it gets to me.
While they're going through all the legal stuff, I mean, you mentioned this, but they've got to be so careful with what they say and what they allude to and what they point to. But I mean, you're telling me that Florida State and Clemson get on the open market and are free, right? Like you got to pay to get them out. Like whether they settle the case or they win in court, which I don't necessarily think, I mean, I guess it's possible, but that's like 3 years down the road, whatever. They get out, right? They pay the money. They just pay they stroke a $500 billion check, like whatever. They are out. It's really hard for me to imagine that the SEC does not try to get Florida State. I think the Big 12, the comment. I think the Big 10 wants Florida State too, but it's hard for me to see the SEC, like ESPN, and I'll even go a step further because I don't as much think it's the conferences. I think it's TV. It's hard for me to see ESPN letting two properties get away and go to Fox. Like you already own them. And you're getting a good deal on them in the ACC. You're getting a great deal. But if you had a Lamborghini and you were paying $500 a month for it and somebody else was going to come and pay more for it, like, would you just let that Lamborghini go just because you were getting a good deal? Like, you're going to let it go? You're going to go to the Ultima, So yeah. Which I drive an Ultima. So I don't know. I can't see the SEC let them go. Maybe the Big Ten makes some, kind of cliche, an offer they can't refuse. But yeah, I have a hard time seeing the SEC letting Florida State or Clemson go somewhere else.
The only way I see Florida State and Clemson ending up in the Big 12 is if there's real validity to the Super League. Let's say, and I did a video on that as well, but let's say there's a Super League that's going to go pro. It's not going to be a college driven league. It's going to be a pro league with only football programs involved. And it's going to be all the blue bloods, all the big dogs go there for $200 million a year plus. I've heard those numbers thrown out by Ross Dillinger. Greg Sankey apparently is a little freaked out about it. He knows there's people calling his schools and inquiring into that using those dollar figures. So he's trying to keep everybody in house. So if you're the Big Ten and the SEC and you're just trying to keep your present big schools in conference and not go to this other thing and trying to build up your revenue so that way they won't leave, then I can see them not adding Florida State and Clemson at this time because of that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if there's a Super League in the future, Florida State and Clemson are going to be a part of that regardless, just because of the fan base. You want the viewership. If you're going to get to $200 million a school on whatever this conglomerate is of NFL people and billionaires and whoever, big time lawyers and whatever, then yeah, I can see Florida State and Clemson biding their time in the Big 12 just because it's easy, make a few extra bucks. That way they don't, they'll still be behind the SEC and the Big 10 for a little while. But if everything's going to Super League anyway, then Florida State and Clemson will obviously be in that one day. And at that point, the SEC and the Big 10 won't be shit anymore because their big football programs are gone.
Yeah. No, I agree. If it was short term, I could see it. I just wonder. I think the Big 12's media deal is up in 2030, right? And so, if you got out in 2020, so 2026 is when the ESPN contract runs, and there's some not controversy, but there's just some question around whether or not ESPN is going to extend with the ACC, thinking about Florida State and Clemson. And so if Florida State and Clemson played the next couple of years in the ACC, and then you played like 27, 28, 29 in the Big 12, and then you kind of move to whatever, right? Like the media rights deal is up, and so you can go somewhere else. Would the Big 12 take them for a few years? I mean, I would think so. Like I would think the Big 12 would be like, yeah, we can offer you a home, and it's going to be a better home than you were in, with you in it. And then we understand it's temporary. We understand that some big changes are coming. I guess I could see that scenario. I don't think that's the case. I think that if you were going to spend these hundreds of millions of dollars to get out, you probably have already had like a wink, wink, nod, nod with one of the bigger two conferences. But I mean, is it possible? I mean, yeah, I think anything, I think anything's possible. So I could see like a temporary marriage.
Like I said, I think that's the only way it happens. If you're believing Super League, then maybe it can happen. And I believe in it if it's going to be over $200 million a school per year as far as a media payout.
Yeah.
And that would be about half of what the NFL teams make. And I think that kind of a pro league with those kind of brands in it, I think that's what it would be worth. About half of what the NFL gets. So I in a way, I believe it. I don't want to see it happen. But then again, in a way, as a Big 12 fan, I kind of want to see it happen, because if it does happen, then the college leagues that are left, the Big 12 is clearly the biggest one out of that. I mean, like I said, the SEC, the Big 10 won't have anything except for, Big 10 would have academics on us, cry me a river over that. And the SEC will have a lot of like mosquitoes and swampland, but they won't have the most profitable football anymore. It'll go to whatever NFL light that would be. And you can't convince me that Florida State and Clemson wouldn't be a part of that. Just the numbers, the viewership numbers are too great.
Yeah.
And too consistent for that. And people say, well, what about winning? Winning. And I'm like, well, Texas hasn't won in forever. They haven't won jack in forever. I think it's the first year in 15 years they won the Big 12, and first appearance in the playoffs since the playoff era. And their ratings they drop a little, but then not a ton. I'm a big time Dallas Cowboy fan. They have been disappointing for 27, 28 years. Haven't done jack.
And people still tune in.
Not even the NFC Championship game. I can't even get to the NFC Championship game. Dak Prescott, $50 million a year, can't get to the NFC Championship game. And yet it's still the most watched football team in existence. It's not about the winning. People keep, like West Virginia fans get in their feelings when you talk about, well, maybe you're not the big, as big a brand as you think. But we're whatever, 15th all time in wins, 16th all time in wins. I mean, great program, great people, great fan base. But I'm like, it doesn't really matter. You have to go on this insane run, and then you have to be able to market that run. So the University of Texas is great at marketing. They market the hell out of themselves. And it doesn't hurt being in Texas, which is like the mecca of football. And then the second mecca of football is Florida. That helps out Florida State. Y'all done a hell of a lot of winning. You got a lot of prestige going way back. So you have the groundwork. So long as you have the groundwork, you have the marketing, and you got the fans, then that's where you are.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes decades, a century to get there. People piss all over Notre Dame, but I'm like, Notre Dame's been Notre Dame for 100 years. They've been like one of the most popular schools for damn near 100 years. I know they haven't won jack in a long time, but the brand speaks for itself. I'm sorry, The fan base is there. And Florida State's is too. And that's why it's hard for me to believe that the Big 12 would get them. And I kind of don't want a couple more blue bloods in my conference. Nothing against Florida State or Clemson, but we can't recruit against them. We can't out-recruit Florida State or Clemson. I mean, we can't out-recruit them now. We're not going to out-recruit them if they're in the Big 12.
Yeah.
So that's already a problem. I've been looking forward to parity. That's what I want to see. And Florida State and Clemson come in. That's not parity. They got bigger donors. They got more money. They're blue bloods. They got it all, and I don't fault y'all for that at all. I mean, you earned it. I don't fault Texas, Oklahoma. I don't like them, but I don't fault them for what they've been able to do and the programs they can build and the support they have. They earned all of it. But I'm glad they're gone. I'm glad they're going to the SEC. It's been hard for me to root for the Big 12 since my whole life, just because of Texas and Oklahoma. I can't stand them. I didn't mind Nebraska. Nebraska was a fresh breeze coming in here. Colorado, when they were successful in the 90s, it was a fresh, someone else is having some success. Missouri has a little success. Anybody but Texas and Oklahoma. That's kind of where I've been at. And I just don't want to go back to that, having two schools running shop. I don't want to go back to that. I like the idea of parity and everybody being on equal footing for the most part. Everybody, no one has a, the Utah Utes think they're going to come in here and do all this and all that. And that's great. That's fine. Cool. But they don't make any more money than TCU. They don't recruit any better than TCU. So good luck. They got a good coach. Okay. But you know what I'm saying? I like Florida State. I like Clemson. And I know a lot of Big 12 fans were excited when they heard that. But I'm like, why are you excited if you're an Iowa State fan? Why would you be excited for them two coming in?
Yeah.
I understand it'd be cool. It'd be fun to see them, come into your home stadium and play. But I don't know. It goes back to the old Big 12. I don't want to go back to the old Big 12 where there's blue bloods and we got to deal with them. That sucks.
Yeah. And you think about it would be increased revenue, but split 18 ways. How much more money are teams really going to make from it? And so it doesn't really feel like it would be that much increased revenue. And like you said, I don't think a lot of the presidents in the Big 12 liked. I think Texas was a little bit more of an agitator than Oklahoma was, but I don't think a lot of the Big 12 presidents liked Texas and Oklahoma in the conference. And so why would you literally invite another Texas and Oklahoma in for, like we just said, at best a short-term thing, a few years, you make a few $1 million more, that's just literally just cherries on top of what you're already making, it doesn't make a ton of sense to me, if you're Brett Yormark, maybe it makes a little more sense, but if you're the president of these different colleges that have to approve this, if you're the fans, I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but again, a lot of people make a lot more money than I do. We'll have to make these decisions, not me.
Yeah. If it's a short-term deal, I think I'm cool with it because if you can get Florida State and Clemson, you can get several other teams as well to follow you guys. I truly believe that. So if you can bust up the ACC and you can take the best tier 2 brands out of that, essentially Big 12 level brands out of that to come with Florida State and Clemson. So when y'all do go to either the SEC or Super League or whatever it is, then, we're set. We have schools out of the ACC we need for the future. And I'm down with that too. I guess so I see a positive with that. I'm like, okay, I can deal with the two big schools being in here for a few years, even through 2031 or whatever it is. And so we can get these other schools that are long-term, then I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
I'd be cool with that move.
Yeah, I think somebody asked about Miami. I mean, I think if you could pull Miami, even if you couldn't get Miami, which I could see them in the Big Ten as well. I mean, you pull Louisville and NC State and Pitt, get the backyard going again, and Virginia Tech feels like they'd be a pretty good fit. I think there's some really good competition that would. Nobody from that group would come in and dominate, but they certainly could come in and add to the level of play and continue to raise, it's not like adding a Florida State or a Clemson that would, raise the level, but it would just, I don't know, all those teams would come in and be able to compete and they're, it would be more fun. The Big 12 is going to be the most fun, conference. Now, does it have a matchup like Alabama, Georgia in week 4? No. I mean, I get it, right? More people are going to watch that. Does it have a Red River anymore? No. But the week in, week out drama of the Big 12 is going to be phenomenal. Just the everybody can win every game type stuff. You really look at the schedule and there's not many cupcakes and there's not many sure losses. And so I don't know, going away from that feels like it would kind of stink. Again, if it's short term, if it makes sense, if it's what the league needs to survive, which I don't think it necessarily does. But yeah, the Big 12 is going to be really good this year. And why would you, as Brett McMurphy said, disrupt that?
Yeah. Well, Brett McMurphy hadn't been right on everything.
No, not at all. Tongue in cheek a little bit.
Not everybody has been right on everything. I mean, it's kind of crazy that you have what was it? It was McMurphy. It was Jason Shear, Ross Dillinger. Ross Dillinger escape plan, all of them talking about Florida State and Clemson to the Big 12. And it's different ways. I mean, Jason Shearer just talking to people within the Big 12 saying that they think that could happen. And I'm like, well, you can think in one hand and crap in the other, see which one gets filled up the quickest. But sorry, that's one of my mom's old sayings.
Oh, my dad used to say that. I'm familiar. That's great.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I said, everyone says that UNC is the most valued brand as well, and I can't buy it. I mean, when I see it happen, if that plays out, then I will. I'll go online and I'll be like, well, I'm a dumbass, I guess. I had it all wrong. But to me, Florida State is, I think, right behind Notre Dame as far as value for any conference. And it doesn't make any sense when you got ESPN, who's going to be straight to consumer in a few years. So there goes your demographics right there. There goes, we got to get into another state. That doesn't matter when you're streaming, like you said. There's no carriage fees involved in that. And cable's dying, satellite's dying. I mean, people aren't really paying attention to the actual business. They're looking at what conference can get what. But when you're looking at ESPN, when you're looking at the parent company of Disney, and you're looking at the overall market, the entertainment market, the money that's going on, Amazon just got the NBA. They just took it from TNT.
Yeah.
Outbid the living hell out of them. And if you kind of look at the money, like what these companies are worth on a pie chart, it's insane how small Disney is and how small ESPN is, and how small Fox is compared to Amazon, compared to Apple, compared to Google. They're nothing. Those companies can buy the others over and over again, buy and sell them like it's nothing. I don't know. I just don't. I don't buy ESPN just throwing away good money with Florida State and Clemson. Oh, go to Fox. Who cares? And people are like, well, why would you want to pay them double? I'm like, because of the matchups, dumbass.
Yeah, they're not playing Syracuse and BC anymore. No shots at those programs. But yeah, they're playing Georgia and LSU. And that FSU LSU game was a top 10 most viewed game both years, 2 years in a row. You get that yearly. You get that every single year,
Dude,
and not just that.
Would get you what?
Yeah.
1.5 million views that week, somewhere over 1 million views that week.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I mean, Arkansas doesn't do anything, but they got a shit ton of fans. Same thing with Mizzou.
Yeah, A&M.
Ole Miss
those games would go nuts, man. Yeah, Florida State and Ole Miss right now, like Lane Kiffin, man, if he's there for long term, like all that stuff, man, would be huge.
And you can ride your bike to the game; it's right there.
Yeah,
you can skateboard to Ole Miss games. I mean, good lord. So I don't know. I think it's all smokescreen crap. That's all. I think that's what it comes down to. It's plain politics. Oh no, we would never want Florida State and Clemson. They don't. No, we ain't gonna tear up. We're gonna screw it. We're gonna get a smaller piece of the pie with all those premium matchups and all those fans. Who wants that? We want the academic juggernauts. We want the ones with empty stands. We want the ones that can't draw jack shit on a football rating side. That's what we want. We want the ones that are great in a sport that makes a quarter of the money of college football. That's what we want.
Sign me up for Virginia in Athens. Like, let's roll. That's what we want to see.
50-6. 50-6 at halftime.
This makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
Virginia versus Vandy could be a good matchup.
What's that?
Virginia and Vandy could be a good matchup. That'd be a good one a year.
Yeah. A math-a-thon or something.
Yeah. Spelling bee.
Yeah, get research together. If you put a camera in the microscope, do something cool like that. But no, I think the Big 12's got a lot of growth potential, and that's with or without Florida State or Clemson. And I think, like I said before, with them short term, I think that would be cool just to get the other schools in and kind of use Big 12 as a temporary landing spot. I could agree with that all day long. But there's this, I don't know, there's a lot of misdirection, I think, in the media going on. And I think a lot of people with these sources, I'm like, who are your sources? I mean, okay, some boosters, or some money people. Okay, that's cool, but it's kind of like in the Pac-12 thing. Who was it? Oh, there's one of these guys that covered the Pac-12, Canzano, John Canzano, the propaganda mouthpiece of the Pac-12. Everyone knew that his source was the Wazoo president. I can't think of his name right now either. Because he would put out something. The next day, that president would speak to the media and say the exact same thing that John Canzano just said. Oh, yeah, we can't piece that together. Who just came up with that, that world beater, that Peabody Award-winning piece that you just threw out. So there's a lot of that going on. And like, I don't mind going against the grain and being against everybody. Just because I'm like this, you got to use logic. And logic tells you Florida State, Clemson are the biggest ads anyone can add right now. I don't include Notre Dame because they don't want to be added. They're making all their money. They don't need it. They're good.
Yeah.
They don't move unless the ACC falls apart somehow.
Yeah, no, I agree there. I think that I don't necessarily see them doing anything major soon. Maybe within 10 years they might, but no, nothing right now.
I mean, if you listen to Josh Pate, it's going to be tomorrow, but
it's coming.
It's coming. Look at that water. It's shaking. I don't know. I mean, I'd like something to happen. I would like Josh Pate to be right, but I'm waiting,
Yeah.
I feel
Need to see it.
Yeah, I feel like
I've been waiting for a year and a half now.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in a church with a pastor that's telling me that Armageddon's going to happen, next Friday, and I'm getting ready. I'm like, oh, and then for Saturday rolls around. I'm like, well, it's a nice Saturday out here. No nuclear bombs. There's no fallout. There's no nothing. Wow. We had it off by a week. That's it. We just had it off by a week. But dude, I really appreciate you coming on here, man. You absolutely didn't have to. Like, I looked up the numbers. Like, I think Double Fries is your main channel, or is it?
Yeah,
you treat both as a main channel.
Yeah, I started Double Fries a few years ago, like FSU only, and then I was starting to do too much non-FSU stuff on there, and people were complaining. So I was like, all right, I'll start like a national one, so it's not like clogging the feed or whatever. So I started College Football Addiction, and I kind of like doing some of the national stuff. I mentioned John Kurtz, like I had him on to talk a little Kansas State and some different stuff. So yeah, they're both kind of, I don't know, Double Fries is the main one, kind of, but I kind of they're both my little babies, I guess.
Well, like Double Fries is like, 17,000 subscribers around there, and the Addiction is 10,000. I'm not even at 2, So, like I said, it speaks a lot of your character to have someone just kick you in the nuts on YouTube and then go on their show and talk about it. So I was kind of taken aback by that. I was like, wow, I didn't expect anyone to be a good person about it, especially when I wasn't. So I totally appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the passion and wanted to, also wanted to like kind of hear you out and you to hear me out. And I kind of assumed that, yeah, like I said, I listened back to mine and I knew that like, well, I was kind of talking from like the FSU perspective. So if that came across as like me just dogging the Big 12, like I certainly don't want to do that. We get the, I've actually had a few Big 12 people on. I had a UCF guy on that we interviewed today and I just haven't posted it yet. And so, I'm certainly not anti Big 12. So I wanted to explain it, wanted to at least chat it out and probably laugh about it, once it was done. But yeah, no, I like connecting. I'm a nerd. I can sit here and talk about football, forever, all night, whenever. And so keep grinding, keep doing good work. And, people are, you'll get there. People are watching, people, and at least 2 of my fans, like saw it and said like, "Hey, you got to go defend your honor" or whatever. And I was like, just, he talked crap about you. You should make a reaction video. I was like, I think I'm just going to see if he wants to chat, like, I don't, but, no, I mean, keep grinding, keep working. You'll get there for sure. Like it's a grind and it happens different for everybody, but yeah, just keep working.
I'll make videos, but I'm not a likable person. That's
hey, I don't know. I mean, Fine Mom's not, like there's a lot of people in life, they've got along, Pat McAfee. I mean, I like him, but he ain't there's a lot of people out there that aren't likable people.
I'll take McAfee, but
yeah,
Feinbaum, come on now. That guy looks like a walking penis. It's not good. It's not a good look. Or a bad guy from the Smurfs. Gargamel. He is looking like a Gargamel.
That's great.
But anything else you got or want to rap about?
No, I'm good. I appreciate you having me on, having the chat, and no, I like it. I'm gonna check out more of your stuff, and I've watched a few things have popped up on the algorithm since I've been doing it, so I've been watching a little bit here and there, and yeah, I like it. I watched your paint video today or yesterday or something, but yeah, no, I like it. I like your style, man. We're not gonna agree on everything, and that's totally fine, but yeah, I like the passion, and I love college football. Like I made the title as a. What's funny is when you search college football addiction, like a little like disclaimer comes up for like call the addiction hotline. My wife saw that the other day, was like, you kind of probably do need to call that hotline because all you do is talk about college football. And I was like, shut up. So anyway, but yeah, like I do feel like I'm addicted to college football. So I love this sport. I love talking about it. I don't have to agree with everybody. That's totally fine. But yeah, I like the sport. I like talking about it. And so that's what, so I appreciate the opportunity to chat a little bit.
Well, anybody on my channel that has not checked your stuff out, check it out. Double Fries, No Slaw, College Football Addiction. You don't have to agree with everything. That's fine. I know you bastards don't agree with everything I say. So, but he runs a good channel. It looks good. The glass with the light behind it. Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got Pulp Fiction. So whatever.
That's good. I want to do more with mine, but man, I got three kids go to school in 2 weeks, and then I'm going to start to work a little bit more in here. But I want to do a little more with shelves and stuff. But yeah, right now we've got it just kind of simple. But yeah, no, I appreciate it, man, for sure. Appreciate the love.
Oh yeah, man. Good channel, and I appreciate you being here, bro.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, no problem. Peace out. All right. Like I said, I don't have a clap function. like what's what the hell's his name? Greg Flugar. Yeah, the way he says that clap function. I like that. I think it's pretty cool. I don't have that, Anyway, I thought y'all would I was kind of surprised when I made that video, just kicking him in the junk, calling him every name in the book. I was not in a good mood that day. And I guess get a text on X or message on X, wanting to come on and talk it out. And I was like, I'll be damned. Okay, well, I didn't expect you to be a good guy. It's easier to hate you when I think you're a punk or something. But he's not a punk. He's a good guy. I hate that. I hate being the villain. But that's what I am, I guess. Grayson Ganoush, you bastard. It's smokescreen, yet they insulted and besmirched FSU's reputation while doing it. That's like spreading rumors about your girlfriend being in porn a few weeks before asking her to marry you. Well, here's the difference on that. No one insulted FSU and Clemson. At least I didn't feel they did. Now, you can say about the whole piece of the pie thing. That's the smokescreen part. And, FSU, Clemson, they're big boys. They can take it. They want that money. They better take it. All right. Let's see who else has got something to say in here. Les Austin Jr., the presidents care about the research money, and Fox. ESPN care about markets and views. Markets aren't what they used to be. I keep saying it. ESPN is going straight to consumer. What is the market? What's the market on a straight to consumer product? Please. They want national brands, big, huge national brands. And FSU and Clemson qualify, like it or not. AAR, what's up, bro? FSU Seminoles ain't going anywhere until the exit the ACC conference. True. Cornelius Green, what's up, bro? I hate the character assassination of Florida State. Yeah, but you got to understand, like, I don't know. I'm kind of looking at like a legal context, and who's really doing the character assassination? I mean, I don't think I've heard Greg Sankey. Maybe he did. It's not like I listen to everything he said, but I know what's been said about Florida State is that oh, they're not a good partner because they're trying to get out of the conference. Blah 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 blah. I don't buy into that. I think some of it's just going to be dirty. I don't think it's going to be dirty to make that happen. AAR, by kicking and screaming, the Seminoles have made some enemies, no doubts. Yeah, but it's at the end of the day, it's business. And I think if ESPN feels, and I believe they do, feel that FSU and Clemson is good business for the SEC, then we'll get over that. What's up, Swaim? Appreciate you, sir. All right. Doing pretty good. I gotta say this. Haven't made a video or anything in like 5 days. I usually go live on Thursday. Couldn't go live on Thursday because Amazon Prime days. I'm a UPS driver, so I've been getting killed 12 hours a day in the Texas heat. So I haven't been able to make a lot of content. So I'm glad to, at least on my days off, I can. Hopefully this week changes. I can make some more content during the week, and I'm not just a dead body out there. So what's up? All right. Dennis Haiti, what's up, dude? Streaming has carriage fees. ACC network made tens of millions from its past year, thus their record revenue. The ACC network is a part of cable and satellite subscription, sir. It's not, I mean, it probably will be offered on a streaming platform, but right now it's still connected to the linear part. That's why they're making their carriage fees. Let's see. AAR, SEC says no so far. The Big Ten answer so far is negative. Well, yeah. And if you ask the Big 12, they'll tell you the same thing. They're not interested because they're still part of the ACC. Like you said, sir. Just like you said, sir. Let's see if I missed anything up here. There we go. Mr. Haiti. I like you, Mr. Haiti. You don't just go along with whatever the host is talking shit about. I like that. Dennis Haiti, UVA and Vanderbilt was the finals of the College World Series for a couple of years in a row. Biggest ratings for the College World Series until this season, too. That's good stuff. All right. He made another thing about that. Let's see. Due to ACC carriage fees from YouTube TV and Hulu subscribers. Yeah, that's because, like I said, they're still on. See, YouTube TV and Hulu, essentially, it's like a cable company, I guess you would say. They kind of broadcast the cable feed, the satellite feed. So, yeah, there's carriage fees associated with that. But once ESPN goes straight to consumer, then that cuts out the local broadcast completely. They're not going to share that, and there's not going to be carriage fees associated with it. So I'm right, and you're right, so the world's right. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining. I'm glad you all got to watch that stuff with me and old college football addiction. TJ Pittenger getting that going. And I will see y'all later. Bye.